Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the newest episode of the 3 and Out podcast. Brett Schaubs, Mike Cicchetti, Ben Pope with you as always. 20 episodes into season 2. Who would have thought making it last year, full season 1? We're now 20 episodes into season 2, and we are now approaching the NFL divisional round. We are officially 1 week full through the NFL playoffs. Super Wild Card weekend just recently happened last week. What a show it was. We went through 6 games, and my goodness, was it chaotic. We had the opening games on Saturday, full slate on Sunday, and one on Monday. I don't know about you guys, but seemed pretty predictable for the most part, other than that Monday night game. We'll get into that in a second, but just our initial takeaways. What were we expecting out of Wild Card Weekend versus what was reality?
Well, I'll say this. We need to go with our guts more, fellas. Honestly, we talked about specifically with the games regarding Tampa Bay and Dallas and the Giants and the Vikings. Those were probably the two biggest surprises, at least from what we talked about with our picks last week. And yeah, we really should have gone with our guts, even though Brett was super convinced that the Bucks had flipped the switch in his mind, but I guess he can never trust Tom Brady.
And this is my issue with this year. All year we were saying Brady's going to turn around. Brady's going to turn around. It's just a matter of time, and he never did. So here we are. The Bucks are eliminated. One takeaway I had though was I feel like these games were for the most part pretty predictable of the outcomes, but I think all these games were really entertaining. Maybe besides the Monday night, which I didn't really expect. I thought the first game, Seattle against San Francisco, was going to be kind of a blowout, which it ended up being, but it was close for the first three quarters. So yeah, I thought all the games were entertaining, which was good, which was good. And we get some more entertaining ones this week, so we'll see.
Yeah, we've got some pretty entertaining ones this week. Excuse me for my voice. A little under the weather today, but yeah, I guess the biggest takeaway from the wild card weekend was not only were they predictable, but all of them were entertaining. All of them. The Ravens almost beat the Bengals, like almost. If it wasn't for the Huntley fumble at the goal line, it could have very well been a Baltimore win. And then when it came to Miami and Buffalo, Skylar Thompson decided just to, come out of hibernation and play like Joe Montana in that game.
That game too.
I don't know if we watched the same game. Go ahead, Mike.
That game I expected to be a blowout, and Buffalo started off with two quick touchdowns. I was like, this game is just going to be, but no, I mean, Miami stuck in there. And I think if Tua was healthy, that outcome could have been different. And I think the same applies to Baltimore. Um, I think that outcome could have been different too. So,
The world may never know.
yeah.
The biggest question here is the divisional round. 8 teams remain, 2 games on each day. These might be the most entertaining games we've seen in a divisional round in quite a while. Because all 8 teams have a legitimate shot. And when I say legitimate, like they all have their extreme upsides that could put them in the Super Bowl run. So we'll go through each game individually, give our predictions, and then at the end, we will go over our stands from the wild card weekends from all 6 games. Just so you're aware, the 4 games this weekend are Jacksonville and Kansas City.
Let's start there.
Buffalo.
Let's just go one by one.
Yeah, let's go one by one. So let's start with that one. Jacksonville and Kansas City. This game is between the 1 seed Kansas City and the 4 seed Jacksonville. Jaguars coming off a miraculous victory against the Chargers, down 27-3 at one point going into the half. Proceeded to outscore the Chargers 31-3. 31-3.
It's awful. The funny thing about that game, you guys, everyone knows I'm a Chargers fan. So that hurt. That one stung. But I wasn't shocked by it because I vividly remember I was at work and I put up a picture of Asante Samuel Jr. holding up the three after he got 3 picks on my Instagram story. I go, this is gonna come back to bite me.
Yep.
I and it did. It's not. I mean, 31-3. I mean, it was shocking the comeback, but the Chargers are just always good for something like that. Um, so that didn't really surprise me, unfortunately. But I mean, shout out to the Jags though. They've been on an incredible run.
Shout out Jacksonville. What was I just about to say? The Chargers then fired Joe Lombardi, their offensive coordinator, immediately after that game. Pretty predictable that response. But now we move into this game specifically. Jacksonville is traveling into Kansas City. Chiefs are pretty much favored to win this game. Seems like it could be all three of us with the same case. There's a strong push towards the Chiefs, especially considering everyone is healthy. They're playing inside Arrowhead, which has been a dominant force in the playoffs for the last 5 years. What are our initial thoughts breaking down this divisional game?
I think it's pretty cut and dry. I have Kansas City in this one. I think everything is pretty much leaning in their direction. I don't feel like any hesitancy that I might have felt with games last week. I think Kansas City owns the experience. They own the better quarterback. They own the better coach. I think it comes simply to that. The Kansas City defense, their biggest issue going on right now is just what they're able to do against opposing wide receivers and what they're able to do in the pass game. We saw Trevor Lawrence struggle in that first half against the Chargers. He was able to kind of flip a switch and completely change what he was able to do in the second half against a decent secondary in the Chargers. So I think it's going to be interesting to see how Trevor Lawrence plays, how much pressure he has against him, how the Jags O-line is able to work against Chris Jones and that D-line. But I don't think Mahomes is going to have any issues against the Jacksonville defense. I think this one is probably the easiest choice of the wild card weekend, pretty cut and dry. Kansas City, this is just a stepping stone for them. I think they shouldn't be, but they've kind of already, I don't want to say looking ahead, but they might be looking ahead to what they're facing next week with either Cincinnati or Buffalo, two teams that have already beaten them in the regular season.
Yeah, I agree. This is all signs point to a Kansas City victory. They did play each other earlier in the year, and Mahomes had one of his best games of the season. This is a different Jags team though, because I think they were 3-7 at that point, and that was just before Jacksonville started to go on their run. I don't think it'll change much. I mean, they won by I want to say 10, and I think it'll be around the same. Maybe Jacksonville can bring within a possession because they do fight through a lot of adversity to that team, as we saw last week. But like everything Ben said, Kansas City has the upper hand in just about everything.
Yeah, I'm going with Kansas City as well here. I think Jacksonville will make it a little bit closer than people anticipate. Like we've said, they fought through adversity, and this young defense has definitely performed a lot better than what people have expected in the playoffs, especially in the second half against the Chargers. That defensive front, man, given 2 more years to age and develop, that's going to be scary again. But I think I pretty much have Kansas City in this one. It's cut and dry for all the reasons we talked about. So seems as though it's a clean sweep on our boards for Kansas City. We will now move on to the next game. We're going to go over to the NFC now with San Francisco and Dallas. The Cowboys, the 5 seed, and the 49ers, the 2 seed. This game is in Santa Clara in San Francisco. Guys, this could be interesting. Brock Purdy and Dak Prescott. This is the first time the Cowboys were able to get a road victory in the playoffs since 1993. Goes to show how much Jerry World has been successful on the road in the playoffs. But anyway, Cowboys traveling to San Francisco. Could be a close game. Brock Purdy managed to not only come back from being down at half against Seattle, but have a phenomenal second half. Throw for over 200 yards passing, couple touchdowns to George Kittle and company. Who are we expecting to take down this one in Santa Clara?
I think this one's going to be closer than people anticipate. I don't think Brock Purdy has faced a team and put an asterisk with it because Dallas, we know how wishy-washy they are. But if they come in how they did last week against the Bucks, kind of, you know, undervalued, maybe people don't really expect them to trounce the Bucks like they did. But if they come in like that, I think the 49ers offense could be in some trouble. Their defense is a lot better than what they played in Seattle last week. Um, and their offense, once they get going, same thing. But it's really tough to go against what the 49ers are doing right now. But you could say the same thing on the other side for the Cowboys. Um, I'll let Ben say his piece, and then I'll make my pick.
Um, I honestly think it's being irresponsible not to pick the 49ers. They're in a situation right now where they are on, I believe it's a 4-game streak of putting up 30, 37 or more points, or excuse me, 4 out of their last 5 games putting up more than 35 points per game. They had one game where they beat the Cardinals 21-7, but they have been unbelievable on offense recently. I think that it's tough to expect anything different from them. I understand that the Dallas defense is a little bit better than what they've seen previously. You mentioned Seattle. They played the Raiders a couple weeks ago. But also at the same time, this Dallas defense has been night and day to what they were in the first half of the season. They have not been playing as well and as consistent as they previously were. So I understand that Dallas, give them all the credit in the world. They played really well on offense. Dak had a consistent game plan, no interceptions, even though I don't think that should be pressed as much as it should be. Even I might have pushed it a little bit last week, but I think looking back on it, pushing the interceptions as much, I think is a little irresponsible. That would be like kind of the Aaron Rodgers talk of last year that, oh, he throws a lot of picks or he doesn't throw a lot of picks. That makes indication of good or bad. Tom Brady throws a lot of picks in the playoffs and he's still able to win games. So I don't think we should fault Dak on that. I do think he's just going to be put under a lot more pressure than he has been recently. I think that if I'm choosing between the offenses, it's pretty much a shootout. I think they're very comparable, but defenses right now, the Niners are playing just at a simply better level. I'm going to put my faith in Brock Purdy. I know it's only his second playoff start, but what he showed last week, he kind of turned a switch similar to what Trevor Lawrence was able to do in the second half. You can point it to the skill position players playing really well as well. Deebo Samuel broke away like a really big touchdown in the third quarter. Yeah, that's what he has to work with. We can't fault Brock Purdy for the assets that are available to him. He's still playing really well. He is able to get out of the pocket pretty consistently when he's getting pressure put on him. I have a lot of faith in the 49ers. I honestly think that at this point, with the 18s remaining, they are the team that I feel the most confident has a clear path to the Super Bowl. And I think if
Really.
this continues this week against Dallas.
And that's the thing too with their offense because Brock Purdy, even if he senses some pressure or struggles, he has McCaffrey in the flats, he has Ayuk open, he has Debo, he has Kittle, he has just so many weapons he can hit. And that in that sense, I agree with you. And I said last week I was trying to go strategic with it. This week I'm going all gut picks, and I can't. I'm going the Niners here. Give me the Niners.
Yeah, I think we've got another sweep here. I think it, as Ben said, I think it would be irresponsible to not pick the 49ers in this case. San Fran just got all of the right pieces to mesh together to make that Super Bowl run. From what the offense has done in the last 7-8 weeks, it's pretty flippin' impressive what they've been able to do, especially considering Brock Purdy is now entering his second ever postseason game, and he looks just as comfortable as he did when he first started against Tampa Bay a few weeks ago. I think Dallas could make this a much closer game than what people anticipate, and
I agree.
I see a scenario where Dallas could win this game.
I
My
agree.
biggest concern for them is offensive line. If you looked at the wild card game, they did lose Jason Peters to a hip injury at left tackle. They had to make some changes. Carter McGovern moved to left guard, and their rookie Tyler Smith is now playing left tackle. As of right now, Jason Peters is scheduled to not play against San Francisco. He was out again yesterday at practice, not present in any activities. So it looks like he's not going to play. So they'll have to have their rookie Tyler Smith playing left tackle again. So if Smith can't hold his own on the blind side, Prescott's going to get pressured significantly. I see a scenario where Bosa's matched up against Tyler Smith in that little bit of a tipsy matchup, but I don't know. I think it's a case where you just have to favor the significant team here, and I think that's San Francisco. So I think all of us have a sweep again.
I just hope their offense can come out and play like they did last week. Dallas with an emphasis on Dak, because I just think that would make for a really, really good one. So I just hope they don't, you know, falter off as we know Dallas can. But yeah.
All right. So far we've gone through 2 games. We have gone through Jacksonville and Cincinnati. We have Kansas City winning that one. And then we have San Francisco and Dallas. Again, a consensus for San Francisco. We move on to the second AFC divisional round. This was probably the closest of the 2 other games we have remaining. Cincinnati and Buffalo. This game is at Highmark Stadium in Buffalo. It's going to be a cold one again for the Bills and the Bengals. We're finally getting the matchup that we did not get in the regular season, unfortunately, because of the Damar Hamlin incident. But both of these teams have been on remarkable runs in the second half of the year. Buffalo coming in after a strong Week 18 performance. Cincinnati almost losing to the Baltimore Ravens in the wild card if it wasn't for Sam Hubbard's over 90-yard fumble recovery on Tyler Huntley and the Ravens. They won by a possession. So now Cincinnati travels to Buffalo in what's expected to be a shootout game at Highmark Stadium. What are we thinking here between 2 teams with pretty significant offenses in the AFC?
Yeah, this is one where I think a lot of people are picking this to be probably the biggest, I guess, toss-up between who could win. I don't agree at all. I think this is, once again, pretty cut and dry. I have full confidence that the Bengals will win this one. The Bengals are dealing with a few things that do give me do give me concern. One, namely, they are dealing with 3 injuries to their O-line. They are dealing with Alex Kappa and Lyle Collins, who are not able to play in the the wild card game against the Ravens. And then Jonah Williams also went down with an injury during the game against the Ravens. So those are 3 injuries to be kind of looking out for. Both Alex Kappa and Jonah Williams have not played through Thursday at practice, so it is trending towards them not being available to play. And the run game with Cincinnati, that has been something that really hasn't been active for the past 3 to 4 ball games, even going back into the regular season. But even with all of that, I have the full confidence in Cincinnati will be able to come out on top. I'm really concerned about Josh Allen and just how he's looked in not only recent games, going back to like a couple games before the regular season ended, just how he's looked in the second half of the season, honestly, since his elbow injury. Not saying that that has anything to do with anything, but it kind of correlates to when he was suffering that. He has been a turnover master. He is just finding ways to fumble, finding ways to turn the ball over in just really weird situations. And even though he's able to really put his team on his back sometimes, he was able to make some really impressive throws in the previous week to get the 2 seed locked up against New England, and even last week against Miami. But also, he just doesn't look he doesn't look like the quarterback that we saw in the first half of the season. And that was one of the big reasons that we were so fearful of Buffalo. And also the injuries to their secondary. That seems like it's going to be a really big concern for me. Not really tested last week against Skylar Thompson, to be expected. Didn't play that well, but even going back to their last few games of the regular season, you saw Mac Jones being able to put up good numbers. Joe Burrow in the limited first half that he was able to play before the Damar Hamlin situation, really good 2 drives. So I can't see Joe Burrow struggling against this Bills secondary, especially when he kind of had an off game last week against Baltimore. I can't see that 2 weeks in a row from Burrow. I think it's more likely that we see the Bengals either overcome or just kind of work around the two issues that were both prominent last year in the playoffs. They were able to work around it last time. I think with a limited defense on Buffalo's side, I really have to lean Cincinnati here. They've really stuck out to me as the biggest contenders to really challenge Kansas City. And even with the injuries that are going on with them, I would still favor them in this game.
Yeah. I think I'm also leaning Cincinnati here. I really want to pick Buffalo, but the Buffalo, the idea of the Buffalo Bills is a lot better than how they actually are because Josh Allen's play is so inconsistent. Um, Even just last week, almost losing to Miami, led by Skylar Thompson, which was tough. And the Bengals made the Super. They were like a possession away from winning the Super Bowl with a awful offensive line. I think they can get it done against the Bills. Um, I do think, though, I'm not as confident as Ben is. I do think this is more of a toss up. But it's just telling me Bengals over the Bills in this one. I'll take.
I'm sorry. I am taking Buffalo in this one. This is strictly a gut feeling pick. I've had a sense for a while.
That's what we're going with. All gut picks from here on out.
Gut picks for me. It was San Francisco.
Gut picks for all of us, not just you, Doug.
I'm going Buffalo here. For me, yes, Josh Allen has been playing extremely inconsistent. The big reason why I see Buffalo winning this is they're playing with house money. They're home. It's in the cold. They've got their offense pretty much fully healthy. The only thing that really concerns me for Buffalo is the same thing that concerns me with Cincinnati is the run game. Both James Cook and Devin Singletary have not touched 50 yards rushing in the last 4 weeks, which is very concerning. Both quarterbacks have been very reliant on throwing the ball, and that's the majority reason why Josh Allen's been having so many turnovers, just trying to force the ball to both Diggs and Gabriel Davis, and not really having much success to begin with, just being extremely inconsistent. I think this changes a little bit here with the Bengals secondary a little bit banged up, as well as the Bills secondary being a little banged up. I'm going to trust Josh Allen a little bit more here. I think that pressure on Joe Burrow with both Jonah Williams and Alex Kappa out is going to be a major problem. Ed Oliver and Gregory Rousseau have been very consistent in the pass rush since Von Miller was injured in the regular season. So I'm going to take Buffalo here with house money. Do I think it's going to be a one-possession game? Yes, I do. I think it'll be close. But I am going to go against you two and pick the Bills.
One thing to add quickly, we saw this a little bit in like the little bit of the game that we got before the Damar Hamlin situation. I'm expecting T. Higgins to absolutely ball out against this Buffalo secondary. I think there's not a person in the Bills secondary that can play one-on-one coverage against that man. So I think they'll be able to lock up Jamar decently. I think he'll still be able to have a good game, but T. Higgins is the person that I think will be the key to the offense in this game. And
I was going to say,
I think this is going to be not a blowout, but at least a 2-score game.
I think it's fair to assume that you're going to stick Trey White on Jamar, and then that's Kaiir Elam on T. Higgins. And if I'm picking one of those two, it's T Higgins. Mike, were you going to say something?
No. I'm just gathering all this information.
Surprised in my boldness.
I was surprised in your 2-score boldness.
Yeah.
All right. So we finished our third game coverage. So both Ben and Mike have Cincinnati winning this ball game. I have Buffalo. We move on to the fourth and final contest of the divisional round series, and that is the Giants and Philadelphia in the link in Philadelphia. A lot more people are having this game as an upset than I'd actually expect. A lot more people are saying that the Giants could be favored in this one. Obviously, Philly being the number one seed in the NFC has a lot to say. They've been playing phenomenal on offense. The major concern, will Jalen Hurts be able to perform the way he did in the first half of the year with that, still healing shoulder from his sprain, Giants are coming off a big win in Minnesota, almost let up the victory, but able to finish strong in the fourth quarter in those last 5 minutes. Isaiah Hodgins and Daniel Jones had a strong connection. A nice game out of Saquon Barkley as well. Dexter Lawrence was an absolute menace for the Giants pass rush. Shout out to him. This could be a good game in a divisional matchup. What are we expecting from the Eagles and the Giants here?
I think the Eagles kind of feel disrespected with all this talk about the Giants, and I was talking with Ben earlier this week. I had the Giants winning. That was my gut pick. I've since gone back on it though. Um, all the signs to me point in an Eagles victory. I mean, the Giants won against Minnesota, who has the 31st ranked defense overall and 31st also in passing defense. We know they're awful secondary wise. Philly has the number 2 overall defense and they're first ranked in passing defense. So just right off the bat, defensively, these two teams are night and day. Philly and Minnesota. I know the Giants had a lot of injuries the first time they played, and when they got blown out, I know Adoree Jackson was out, and he did amazing things against Justin Jefferson last week. However, I think the drop off from Justin Jefferson to the other targets are more significant than all of Philly's weapons. Philly has much better offensive weapons, in my opinion. And the thing with Jalen Hurts, he hasn't played. He's played what, one game in about a month. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see a little rust from him. But I think he's just a guy that will kind of fight through it and overcome it. I think it will be a decently close matchup. I mean, they got blown out both times. I know they came within a possession, the Giants, the last time they played with all backups, but that game was basically over with before the last quarter even started. So with all that being said, if I haven't made it clear enough, I'm taking the Philadelphia Eagles in this one.
Yeah, this one is the only game this week that I've really had trouble with. And like Mike said, I was kind of in the same boat that we were thinking that the Giants could really upset. But the more I'm looking at stuff, and even so, I want to make this very clear off the bat. I don't think I don't think Jalen Hurts is 100% healthy. And that is something that most teams would not be able to overcome. I think Philly is one of the few teams that would be able to overcome an injury to their quarterback like this. They're saying that Hurts is playing full, but I think I don't have enough confidence. I haven't seen him play fully healthy, fully right since that injury, and it's a shoulder injury. It's not something insignificant, especially for a quarterback that, even though he is dependent on his legs a little bit, has a really good arm. So with the weapons that he does possess, I think they need to pick him up a little bit. This is a running offense that is one of the best in the league, if not the best running offense in the league. The Giants have shut them down once, and they've not been able to contain them once. Miles Sanders went off in their first matchup. He put up over 140 rushing yards. Hasn't topped over 65 rushing yards since. So that's 5 games that he has not been able to do so. Do I think he'll be able to break the trend? I'm leaning towards yes. And with Philly's defense being mostly healthy, with not being fully sold on what Daniel Jones was able to do last week, even though he played phenomenally. Daniel Jones, I believe it was the first quarterback to put up 300 passing yards and 70 rushing yards in his playoff debut. Unbelievable game by him. But it was against a really bad defense in Minnesota. They fired their DC a couple days after the game ended. So that is saying something. I think the Giants are going to play hard, and this is the game that I have the most confidence in being a one-score game, playing down into the last 2 minutes. But I am going to lead with Philadelphia here. I think it's wrong to give the Giants fully that hope, even though I think it is smart to say that you shouldn't put as much chips towards the Philly side of the table. I think that this will be a very close game, but you have to rely on what we've seen all year, which is the Philly defense is able to come through against mediocre offenses. I don't think the Giants will be able to overcome it. Saquon Barkley had 2 touchdowns last week, but again, wasn't able to do much in the rushing department. I think Philly, good rush defense, they're able to still contain him. I'm going to lean Philadelphia here. This would be the only game I would say that I don't feel 100% confident in my pick.
Okay. What a job by Benny. For the first time, I don't think I've ever seen him not confident in a pick. He's always able to back it up. Always able to back it up.
It's true. It's true.
All right. So that leaves me. I am picking the Eagles in this case.
I thought you were picking the Giants. After that little soliloquy, you were like, I'm going to ignore that.
Gut pick. I'm picking the gut here. I'm going with the Eagles. To me, this all comes down to cornerback talent versus wide receiver talent. When the Giants have Isaiah Hodgins and Richie James going up against James Bradbury and Darius Slay, Hodgins and James don't stand any chance. I'm sorry. They just don't. I think this is going to be a big game for the Eagles pass rush going up against this Giants offensive line. I'm going with the gut pick here with Philadelphia. They should be able to roll in this game. And with that, it wraps up our divisional round predictions here in the 3-0 podcast. Again, the 4 games this weekend: Kansas City, Jacksonville, Dallas, San Francisco, Cincinnati, Buffalo, and the last one we just went over, Philadelphia and New York Giants. We now move in to our second to last segment. I have a surprise for you all for our last segment. Our second to last segment, stand sessions. Of course, everybody knows our stand sessions. We pick 2 players from the NFL wild card who we loved, who we thought did an impressive job. We'll go around the table. Mike, who's your first wild card stand?
I gotta go with him. Asante Samuel Jr. I know it was a tough ending for the Chargers, or a tough second half overall. But I can't disregard the fact that Asante Samuel Jr. Looked insane in the first half, had 3 picks. And was just playing. He was just a ball hawk that whole first half. 3 picks in the first half is insane, but I mean, no one's going to really remember that because of the loss, unfortunately. So, Asante Samuel Jr., shout out you. And shout out Papa, too.
Ben?
So I'm not gonna grab the jersey for this one, but this is for shout out JC. Debo Samuel is my first stand of the week. We'll go with double Samuel. Debo had his first really good game since he came back from injury a couple weeks back. 6 for 133 with a touchdown, with a breakaway touchdown in the third quarter to pretty much put the game on ice for San Francisco. They were able to put up a couple scores after that, but Debo Samuel is one of the pieces that can really just further elevate San Francisco, where I already feel about them. I was a little bit concerned, to be honest with you, when Debo first came back, that the kind of establishment that was made within the offense under Brock Purdy, the trio, the triangle of trust between Christian McCaffrey, Brandon Ayuk, and George Kittle would be disrupted. But I think Debo Samuel is going to fit right in the middle there. He's going to be at the center of everything because it seems like Brandon Ayuk and George Kittle were still able to get a normal workload with Debo back the past few weeks, and Debo having a good game. The other two were still able to do some stuff. Christian McCaffrey is always going to get work just from the running side of things, even if he's not able to get his pass work. But I'm just really impressed with what the San Francisco offense is doing right now. They look truly unstoppable right now. So Debo Samuel is my first stand of Wild Card Weekend.
All right, so we have Asante Samuel and Debo Samuel, both Samuels. Interesting ad lib there.
You gonna
My
throw in
first
Curtis?
what?
You gonna throw in Curtis?
If only Ron Rivera knew that they would get eliminated that week. Only.
Okay.
Okay. Kellen Moore is my first stand of the week, the offensive coordinator for the Dallas Cowboys. Welcome back to the Crazy Picks. I was genuinely impressed with the play calling by Dallas that past Monday night. It wasn't predictable. I thought Dak looked extremely comfortable. And in those tough situations where you're going for fourth down or you're at the goal line, Dallas has been pretty predictable with the run game and when they're going to use it. But between the bootleg that they use, shades of Peyton Manning, and just when they decided to flip between the run versus the pass, I was genuinely impressed on how he called that game. I'm hoping it's very similar in this contest against San Francisco, but I'm a Kellen Moore stan. Shout out Kellen Moore. Mike?
Back to me. I'm doubling up on cornerback. My next stand is Dory Jackson, Giants cornerback, for his performance in clamping up the best receiver in the league, Justin Jefferson. Held him to 6 catches, 37 yards, was on him for 85% of the snaps last week. I think he'll be able to have a similar impact this week. However, Philadelphia's weapons are just a lot greater. Hold him to 37 yards and just 1 catch for 4 yards in the second half, which is incredible. Shout out Asante and shout out Adoree.
So for my second stand of the week, it was a no-doubter. It has to be the fumble in the jungle. Sam Hubbard from the Cincinnati Bengals. Easy choice there. I made the defining play that pretty much won Cincinnati the game. The Ravens were right at the 2-yard line. It was a very close game, closer than I think a lot of people had it, but Baltimore's system of running the ball really was working them. But Sam Hubbard able to recover the fumble by Tyler Huntley on the 2, able to run it back the 98 yards for the return touchdown. Even though he was getting chased down by Mark Andrews, Mr. Hubbard was able to run like Chuba. Maybe that's his brother there. But Sam Hubbard, game-winning play for the Bengals, is my second stand of the week.
All right, and that leaves me for my final stand. My last stand of the week is in the NFC again. Christian McCaffrey is my last stand of the week in his first ever playoff game for San Francisco. He never made the playoffs for Carolina and the Panthers since his draft in 2017.
Well, no wonder.
Yeesh. But anyways, McCaffrey rushed for almost 120 yards. He had a big run in the first quarter that was a little over 50 yards, almost went to the house. If it wasn't for, I believe it was Jordan Brooks that tackled him. But regardless, Christian McCaffrey, always dynamic. He looks so alert and present in this game. And it just goes to show how much of a threat this guy can be when you give him an open lane on the left side. So I'm going with McCaffrey as my final stand. And that wraps up stand sessions here on the 3 and Out podcast. And I said this wasn't our last segment. I have one more segment for you all. I figured it'd be a little bit fun since we're, a little bit quick in this episode. I thought we'd have a little fun. Ben and I were talking about this earlier in the day. I think it's about time we did one ourselves. I'm going to share my screen.
Oh, my God. Okay. All right.
Can everybody see this?
I feel like I'm going to get screwed by this.
I'll pull this one up for you.
Can everyone see this?
No.
How about now?
Looks like a bunch of screens.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. I'm going to full screen it.
Yeah, full screen it. Ooh, okay,
All right.
Okay.
So for those of you who don't know, this is what's called an NFL grid. It's a little trivia game. So you have 3 teams lined up on the left side and 3 teams lined up on the right. And your objective is to name a player that has played for the 2 teams in the square. So for example, if it's the Ravens and the Patriots, you'd want to name a player that played for both teams. We're going to use little markers to mark our guys, and whoever ends up with
you don't have pictures of our faces?
let's take a look, shall we? I have a picture of Ben. I have a picture of me.
You can put a picture of Lumpy Space Princess as
I guess I'll be can I be Mater then?
Of course you can.
All right.
All right.
So are we working against each other as a team?
We're working against each other.
Gotcha.
So we're going to go down the line, down, and then down. So if it does go to overtime, it'll be in between. So Ravens, Jags, Bucks, Patriots, Cowboys, and
We have to
Cowboys.
go in order?
We're going in order, Mike, Ben, and then me.
Oh, boy.
And if you can't name a player, just say pass.
Oh, wait, you're playing and not hosting? You made the thing.
All right. I'll host
No,
that.
no. Oh, that feels mean. No, if you want to play.
All right. But here we go.
Okay.
Mike, the honor's yours to start. Ravens and Patriots.
Wait, no, he can choose any square.
Oh, yeah, he can. That's true. Any square you'd like.
All right. So I guess I'll go with the most obvious and go Patriots Bucks and go Rob Gronkowski.
That works. All right, Mike is on the board. Ben?
Patriots, Ravens, Matthew Judon.
Oh, good.
I thought that was the most obvious one. But yeah, Brady and
Oh, damn. You guys took the two most obvious ones.
So
made
did you fact check and make sure there were players for all of these?
There is. Yeah, there is.
Okay. So you don't know those players though?
I'm going to pass.
That's what I'm saying, Mike.
Okay. All right. So I have a question before I pass. Lamar Jackson played for the Louisville Cardinals, so does that count?
It does not count.
All right, Ben, go ahead.
Oh, give me Dan Arnold, who played for the Cardinals and the Jaguars.
I like it.
Wow, that's crazy. That's a crazy pull.
I'm telling you, dude, you're going to get some crazy pulls out of this. So it's back to me. Oh, I would have had a perfect one. That doesn't work. Did he play for them? Did Terrell Suggs play for the Cowboys?
I don't think so. I don't think he did.
I got you covered. No, he did not.
Oh, but he did play for the Cardinals. Ravens Cardinals, Terrell Suggs.
Wait, did you look it up and then pick it?
I looked up teams. But we'll leave that one blank.
That was good. That's a cheat.
We're gonna leave this one
You
blank.
looked it up and then picked it.
All right. Continue.
That's why I was like, this is flawed if we don't have someone outside of us checking.
Terrell Suggs is not on the board for Ravens and Cardinals. You can use somebody else. Mike, back to you.
Can I take Terrell Suggs? Or is
For
he
what?
just eliminated?
No.
He's completely off the board.
Okay.
You cannot use him.
I will take oh boy. Give me you know what? Give me a Josh Lambo for Jags Patriots.
Did Josh Lambo pay for the Patriots, Ben?
I'm almost positive he did, but I'll double check. But he was only on there for like the practice squad, so I don't know if it'll show.
It works.
It doesn't show him on here, but I'll give it to him because I don't give a roll.
Am I right in saying that?
Josh Lambo, Patriots. No, I got nothing for him with the Patriots on just news.
All right, take Mater out.
He was on the Titans. Let me see. Oh, okay.
How about this? I'm out of this now. You guys go one-on-one. I will be the host to fact check.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's see here. Give us a counter of like 30 seconds too, just so we're.
Yeah.
Trace McSorley, Ravens, Cardinals.
Wow.
Look at that, Benny.
Wow. Good one. Good one.
You notice a trend with mine, they'll all be skill position players unless they're really obvious.
All
right, Mike,
righty.
you're on the
I want to knock out a Dallas one because I feel like there's got to be someone. Got to be someone. It's just not coming to me right now though.
I know one.
I thought you were the host.
Yeah, I'm not playing though.
Okay.
Yep, I was right.
Oh, excuse me, huh?
All right, you're out of time, Mike. Ben.
Okay.
Okay, I think this is a guess, but for Jags Cowboys, is Zay Jones on there?
Let me check.
Zay Jones played for the Raiders, the Bills. I think he might have been a Cowboy though.
Zay Jones was not a Cowboy.
Okay.
Bills, Raiders, and Jaguars.
It was between him and fucking Tavon Austin, so.
All right, Mike.
Um. Go ahead, Ben. I need more time.
There's like DNs that keep coming to mind, but um uh this is the first thing that comes to mind. I just want to keep it going. JPP Bucks Cowboys.
I keep thinking of that too. I do not think he did. Let me look.
He was a giant, but I just want to keep it going.
All right, Jason Pierre-Paul did not play for the Cowboys.
I have a guess.
Go ahead.
Did Alden Smith ever play for the Jags? Jags Cowboys?
Let me look. He did not.
Okay. So it was just Niners Cowboys?
Yep.
Okay.
He also played for the Seahawks.
Okay.
This is a shot. No. Oh, it wouldn't even work. You know what? I'll say it just to keep things going. CJ Beathard for the Cowboys and the Jags. Oh, wait.
Let me look. Can this load? All right. Negative. 49ers and Jaguars for CJ Beathard.
I'm just throwing out like backup quarterbacks at this point.
This Patriots Jags one was gonna kill me.
I think I got it though.
Okay.
All right, Ben, what's your guess?
I'm pretty sure Deion Lewis played for the Jags. So Jags Patriots for Deion Lewis.
Let me look.
Did he play for the Jags?
He played for Tennessee at the end, but I know I think he played for Jacksonville.
He did not. Eagles, Browns, Colts, Patriots, Titans, Giants.
Dang. She could have guessed any of them. Okay. Brett, do you have all these players' names on here? Or are we just going to be confused if we don't get them?
I have a player. Give me a sec. Oh, lost me.
Bless you. Do you bless yourself, bro?
Jeez.
I do.
All
right.
All right.
I've got one for the Cardinals and the Buccaneers. I've got one for the Ravens and the Cowboys.
Give me I don't think he played with Jacksonville. I'll say Michael Humanawanui, Patriots Jags.
Why is this not loading? My Safari literally just crashed. There we go. Humanawanui teams. He played for the Rams, the Patriots, and the Saints.
All right, Ben.
Has Gerald McCoy played for the Bucks and the Cowboys?
I think that's it.
you're right.
I think that's it.
Let me look.
I think
You are right.
yeah.
Oh my God.
Amazing pull, bro.
Oh, I can't get a fifth one though. I have no idea. I've gone through backup quarterback for everything for all these guys.
I'm just going to tell you, Ben, and I'm going to drive you more crazy. There is a backup quarterback that's played, and you haven't named him yet.
Is he on one of these teams?
Correct.
Oh, okay. I think I got it then.
Ben?
Oh, I can do it?
Unless if Mike wants to pass.
Go ahead. I ain't got nothing.
Blaine Gabbert, has he played for the Cardinals? Cardinals and
He
Bucks?
has. That's
Oh
him.
my God. That's a bummer.
So Ben won.
Yeah, he
I
just
just
won.
needed to get 5. I didn't need to get 3 in a row. I just need 5.
Yeah. The player I was thinking of was Ravens, Cowboys, Brandon Carr. You guys remember Brandon Carr, the cornerback?
No.
Brett.
I'm
Okay.
a big Brandon fan.
Well, no.
With that,
So that's it. We'll never find out who the others are.
I
Who
was
were the
trying to
others that you
look.
had written down?
I literally just made this on the spot, so don't criticize me.
No, I enjoyed it.
I
Good.
didn't.
Oh,
Why? Because you sucked?
Yeah.
I won't lie. I thought you would be. I thought you would be really good at that, Mike. Are you upset now?
No. I'm just looking at. I found a Jags
Kyle Brady,
Patriots.
a tight end.
No, I didn't.
Who?
His name is
Wait.
Kyle Brady. He played for 13 seasons for the Jaguars and the Patriots.
What years?
Mike, were you just
year?
trying to do like players that are playing right now, or did you know we could do like former players?
No, I knew former.
Okay.
I just
want to make
I
sure.
just couldn't think of, yeah.
All right, but with that, it concludes this episode of the 3 and Out podcast.
Looks
Thanks so
like
much
a
for
good
tuning
plan.
in. If you liked our content, be sure to subscribe and give us a like on all of our
No,
pages.
nobody liked that. Nobody liked that game, Brett. Go back
I
to
think
the
you
drawing.
just didn't like that game, and you're just butthurt about it. So pipe down to the peanut gallery over there.
I'm proud.
If you like our content, be sure to give us a like on our YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, wherever you get our content. Be sure to tune in for episode 21, where we're going to break down all of the divisional round. And there's Ben with a virtual reality headset on a trading card.
Oh my God, just keep going.
Until next time, Ben Pope, Mike Cicchetti, I'm Brett Shavs. Take care, and Big Ben's the GOAT.
So now we're telling lies.
Never lie.